My name is Aaron. I come from a family of 3, with a father who was a regular employee at a small company, and a mother who worked part-time. Growing up in poverty, I've always kept 2 things in mind: to become wealthy when I grow up, and to keep my distance from people who are corrupted by money. Coming from a PUA family and constantly being looked down upon, I worked hard in my studies. As a result, I graduated from a prestigious university and joined a well-known company. However, the department I was assigned to by Human Resources was in charge of cleaning duties. Me and cleaning duties? Even though I'm a graduate of a famous university? I couldn't accept it, and subtly asked the person in charge of Human Resources, only to be told, "Are you dissatisfied with your assignment? If so, you can submit your resignation. Just because you graduated from a somewhat good university doesn't mean you can get everything your way. There are plenty of people like you." Later, I found out that this HR person was a high school graduate hired through connections. Jealous of my educational background, she assigned me to the cleaning department. Unbelievable, I can't work in such a company. But my parents, who hadn't had such opportunities themselves, were extremely proud that their daughter graduated from a prestigious university and worked for a good company. Even though I wanted to quit, they had already bragged about it to our neighbors. Under such circumstances, I couldn't just quit my job. Soon after, as I was grappling with my situation, 2 men appeared before me. One was Danny, a muscular part-time worker doing physical labor. The other was Chris, a cool and intellectual man running his own business. These 2 contrasting men each attracted me in their own ways. The meanings of attraction were completely different for each of them, though. I was romantically attracted to Danny. His wild, slightly bad boy aura was a type I had never encountered before and found attractive. On the other hand, Chris, while honest, was too serious and lacked excitement. Eventually, I grew even fonder of Danny when I found out that he also grew up in poverty. Finally, when he proposed, I accepted. My relationship with Chris continued as a valuable one. Friendship, where he gave me practical advice whenever I vented about my job frustrations. One day, invited by Danny, I went to his parents' house to meet them. I had already introduced Danny to my parents. They seemed to have a favorable impression of him, because he also came from a poor family background. They really took a liking to Danny. "I think I'll get along with your parents," he told me. But even when things seemed to be going smoothly, my life was about to be thrown into an unimaginable whirlwind of chaos. "This is my old house. It's a wreck, huh? Shocking, right?" I said with a laugh. "Not at all. My family's house is old too. I'm totally fine with it." At first we chatted amicably. "Dad, Mom, are you there?" I've brought Aaron," Danny called out. A loud clattering sound came from the back of the house. My family's house was also quite old, so I'm not in a place to judge. But the creaking noise from the floorboards was concerning. Then a middle-aged man with an unimpressive look and a middle-aged woman who seemed frankly greedy for money appeared. They were Danny's father, Scott, and mother, Vanessa. "You're Danny's bride-to-be? You look smart, girl. Yeah, how much do you earn? You work at a big company, don't you?" Danny quickly interjected, "Hey, Dad, you shouldn't call my bride-to-be girl." "And Mom, don't ask about her salary right away. It's rude." "Sorry, Aaron, they don't mean it. They're always like this," Danny apologized. Father, Mother, I may have many shortcomings, but it's very nice to meet you," I said, trying to act unbothered. Right. Aaron, the living room is this way." "Come in. Tell us about your salary," Scott said, leading me to the living room. Dad, Mom, enough already, calling her girl right away and pestering her about her salary. It felt strange. A feeling of unease spread within me. It was like dark rain clouds gathering overhead on a day I forgot my umbrella. I took a seat on the living room cushion, as suggested by Scott. Both Scott and Vanessa were looking at me with unsettling smiles. The sense of discomfort was undeniable. "Hi, Aaron. Nice to meet you. I am considering marriage with Danny," I said formally. "Not enough with the formalities." "No need for such formal greetings," Vanessa said dismissively. "That's right. We're practically family already." My hope was that maybe my in-laws were just a bit eccentric, but good people, but that was shattered. I can't believe such a smart person is going to be our daughter-in-law. Can't wait to see our grandchild, right, Mom? You work for a famous insurance company, right? That's great. How much do you earn each month? Sorry, my parents are getting carried away. Don't take it badly. Yes, thinking positively. Maybe my in-laws were concerned about their son and were simply curious about my salary because they were poor. Realistically, Danny's salary isn't high, so their concern was understandable. Well, my annual salary is about $80,000. Scott, that's amazing. Aaron, you've just graduated from university, right? You're earning double the average salary of a male employee. We can live at ease with that kind of money. Wait, what? I understand what my father-in-law means, but what did my mother-in-law say? Live at ease? What does that mean? Actually, Aaron, I'm not just poor. Oh, Scott, not only poor, but also loves gambling. He has a debt of $100,000. Hey, what are you two saying? What? I felt pale. Were my in-laws just thinking of me as a cash cow? Not just my mother-in-law, but my father-in-law, too. Is Danny the only decent one? Maybe I should reconsider this marriage. Just then, Danny said something unbelievable. Dad, Mom, let's not talk about money. You're gonna surprise Aaron. Everything has its order. But since it's out, sorry, Aaron, can you help my family out? Hearing this, my mind went blank. The entire family, including Danny, was not good. I can't be with you, What? Don't be shy. From today, all four of us will help each other out. Yes, now I don't have to declare bankruptcy. I thought I had to go see a judicial scrivener, but luckily I don't have to. Scott wants to see the grandchild soon, but I'm more interested in the money. And so, for 10 years to this day, I've lived as a slave to Danny and my in-laws. I wanted to call off the marriage, but I made a mistake by introducing Danny to my parents first. They began to get along. Danny, if only I had met your family before introducing you to my parents. I might have called off the marriage. But just like I couldn't quit my job, I didn't want to disappoint my parents, and couldn't make that decision. So things just dragged on. Today, I'm still working as a cleaner at a large corporation to make my parents proud and support my in-laws and my freeloader husband, who both only see me as a source of money. Looking at the two things I've always kept in mind, although I've become someone who has money, the job I do is not what I wanted at all, and I've failed to stay far from those corrupted by money. But what I didn't realize was that I would be pushed into an even more difficult situation. It's been 10 years since I started my job, and the only change that has happened is that I've gone from a basic cleaner to a chief cleaner. The treatment might be better, but I'm not sure if this can be considered a promotion. Sadly, it seems that being evaluated as an excellent cleaner is one of the reasons my position has not changed. The HR person who was apparently jealous of my education moved to another department a long time ago, but nothing has changed for me. Danny, I can't come home until late today, so I won't be able to prepare dinner. Sorry, there should be rice cooked, so could you warm up some frozen fried chicken in the microwave? Sorry about that. Is that so? It's fine, don't worry. Good luck with your work. From an outsider's perspective, you might seem like an understanding husband, but I can't help but be suspicious. Danny, who is greedy for money, has been acting too kindly lately. The only explanation I can think of is that he has another woman and is cheating. Alright, my clothes look good, my hairstyle is cool, and the perfume smells great, right? Yes, but why are you dressed up? Nothing. Oh, I have to go to my part-time job. Even after 10 years of marriage, you are still working part-time jobs. Meanwhile, I am still inexplicably working as a cleaner for a large corporation. Since your behavior is too suspicious, I've thought about following you. However, since I have to go to work, I can only ask someone else to tail you. I considered a detective agency, but decided to ask Chris. My relationship with Chris has continued over the years, always being there to listen to my worries and complaints. He has also been continually proposing that I help him with his business. Although it's tempting, I've declined so far because I don't want to worry my parents by quitting my job at the big corporation. Despite feeling guilty about asking, Chris readily agreed to follow Danny. Finally, done with work today. Oh, there's a message from Chris. Aaron, just as you said, your husband is cheating. I knew it. Well, whether Danny is cheating or not, I'm not jealous of another woman. But here I am, working as a cleaner every day, sacrificing my health to support a freeloader and his parents. It's infuriating how shameless they can be. Knowing the truth only makes me angrier. I'll go meet Chris directly and talk to him. I texted Danny that I would be late and headed to the bar to meet Chris. Aaron, I'm sorry to have to report something like this. No, it's all that worthless husband's fault. Then I vented my frustrations about Danny to Chris, and he just listened calmly. That's terrible. It's bad enough that someone as capable as you is still working as a cleaner. But for him to rely on you like that and cheat, it's unacceptable. Beckley, I can't forgive him. I've had complaints about my husband before, but now I've reached my limit. By the way, what's the woman he's cheating with like? Considering Danny's greed for money, I assumed he must be after a wealthy woman. But surprisingly, she's a model. A famous model? Expected, but it confirmed that Danny's motive was still money. Chris continued to follow them and eavesdrop on their conversations, and it turned out like this. The woman's name is Lindsay. She seems to be an exclusive model for a popular fashion magazine. When I quickly searched on my smartphone, Lindsay was quite beautiful. She seems to be a particularly popular model right now, rumored to have an annual income of several million. Furthermore, her father is an executive at a major corporation. I wondered why such an amazing woman would be with someone like Danny, but according to Chris, they met through a dating app. It's unbelievable what can happen in this world. So the other woman is 24 years old, a whole generation younger than me. I have nothing to compete with. That's not true. This is Lindsay. She is said to have a really bad personality. With that, it is questionable if she can continue as a model. Besides, I have been asking you for a while now to help me with my business. Even with his offer, I hesitated. I appreciate the invitation, but I am already so tired every day just from my cleaning job. Taking on more seems impossible. Thank you for thinking of me, but I am too exhausted after work. I see. How about working from home then? It can be done because the work is ID related. Thinking it over, maybe I could manage that. So I decided to help Chris with his business. Chris's business seems to be doing well, and the sales are good. Amazingly, I ended up receiving an annual salary of $500,000 as a business partner with Chris. Combined with my current job, that is almost $600,000 a year. But if this gets out, I have no idea what my money-hungry husband and in-laws might do. Of course, I must keep this a secret from them. Meanwhile, my personal life was escalating into a bigger mess. Danny finally confessed to his affair and declared he was switching over to Lindsay. You know, you have zero charm as a wife. Telling your precious husband to prepare his own frozen fried chicken? A total failure. We have to divorce. Okay, understood. Oh, and speaking of divorce, I will need compensation. Give me $100,000. I was speechless at his terrible remark, but the thought of not having to see Danny's face anymore was actually a relief. I went to my room, took out the $100,000 hidden in the safe, and here you go, ha ha! I said this as I threw the bundles of cash at Danny's face. He seemed shocked by this. He must have been wondering how I had such a large amount of money ready. But I did not feel the need to explain. With the divorce decided, I had to go to Danny's parents' house to say goodbye, thinking it would be the last time I would see their faces. Reluctantly, I showed up at their shabby house. Sorry it turned out this way, Aaron. Danny made a mess of things. Lindsay earns 30 times your annual income, so it cannot be helped. Think of it that way. Sorry about that. Dad here lost big at the races again, and racked up a total debt of about $500,000. Your salary wouldn't be nearly enough to cover it. So you're out of the picture now? Understood? Father, mother, thank you for everything. They were the worst people after all, using others only as a source of income until the very end. And not a single one of them sincerely apologized. But getting rid of this money-hungry family felt like a relief. I had no regrets about the divorce. My parents would understand once they knew the reason for the divorce was my husband's affair. Ironically, the total amount of their debts is something I could pay off with my annual income. But they don't know that, and our relationship ends here. As I was about to leave their rundown house, a young woman called out to me from behind. Hey, are you Aaron by any chance? Yes, I'm Aaron, but who are you? Between my in-laws and this woman, what's with the sudden familiarity? As I looked at her face, it clicked. Ah, she's Lindsay, Danny's affair partner. Me? I'm Lindsay, your replacement, I guess. Is that so? You're the new wife. Well then I'll take my leave. Such a plain face. I feel sad for you. Well, compared to my beauty, anyone is pitiful. Ack. Lindsay and Danny, in a way, are a perfect match for each other. I gave Lindsay a perfunctory response and quickly headed back to my own home. After becoming divorced, I was gradually getting used to my life of cleaning during the day and working as Chris's business partner at night, free from complicated human relationships. One day, I unexpectedly ran into someone I thought I'd never see again. After finishing my cleaning job, I arrived home to find a familiar face. Ah, there she is. Erin, long time no see. How have you been? What? Father, why are you here all of a sudden? This is your first time coming here, isn't it? Expecting that this man, no longer my father-in-law but a stranger, must have come for money-related reasons. Sorry, Erin, I just need a little money. Help me out. No, I'm divorced with your son now. And you already have Lindsay, who is much more, 30 times more, was it? A more wonderful money tree. I mean wife, right? Despite telling him this, he claimed there were problems with Lindsay and that she couldn't be relied upon. I tried to get rid of him, but as I tried to enter my house, he followed and watched his foot in the door, forcing his way in. Even though he was once my father-in-law, this is when I can call 911. You see, Lindsay messed up a bit. She was an exclusive model, but it looks like that deal might fall through. Even so, what does that have to do with me? Lindsay is wealthy, right? Why don't you ask a lawyer for help? Continuing his story, he revealed that Lindsay had been posting insults and defamatory comments about a rival model in a chat room. The victim's lawyer, inexperienced and young, delayed in requesting access logs as evidence, and it was unclear if they would make it in time. But what I couldn't understand was why he came to me. Because, Erin, you're working with that president on operating that chat room, so I was hoping you could help. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, right? Yes, I'm engaged in ID business with my partner. So you're saying Lindsay messed up in the chat room we operate? Wait, father-in-law? How do you know about my business? Turns out he had been tailing me, using his unmemorable appearance to his advantage. Listening in on my conversations with Chris. This man follows people around. Are you saying that even if the lawyer requests evidence, we shouldn't comply to cover up what Lindsay did? No way. Not complying with a lawyer's request would be illegal, right? I would never ask you to do such a thing. That's a relief. Even this money-hungry man knows the difference between right and wrong. Or so I thought, but only for a moment. So, Erin, it would be great if you could just shut down the chat room. Then nothing will get out, and it'll be all good. Just say it's closed due to technical issues or something. What did you just say? Do you realize what you're suggesting? This is the worst. He's worried about losing his money source and is asking me to abandon my business. That's unthinkable. I felt a surge of anger and forcefully pushed him out of my home. However, the next evening, after finishing my cleaning job, I arrived home to find Danny there. Hey Darren, how's it going? You must have heard from Dad yesterday. Listen, are you and your father out of your minds? Why should I have to give up my business just because your wife messed up hers? But hey, I heard you guys are doing more than just running chat rooms. You're just being asked to shut down one out of many. Enough already. What needs to be shut down is you and your father's mouths. As I said this and looked at Danny's face, he looked completely lifeless, a stark change from before. He seemed to be quite cornered. But whatever he says, it's none of my concern. The 3 of them. No, including Lindsay, 4 of them. Do they have any idea how much trouble they have caused me? And just when I thought I had finally become a stranger to them after the divorce, this is their next move. Hey Erin, look at this. This is what Lindsay posted. I know I'm not in a place to say this, but it looks pretty serious, right? Ignoring my irritation, Danny pointed out a particular post in the chat room. The thread where you curse people by posting their real names. This one? That model Miki is so annoying. I heard she uses her looks to get work. I'm not a model saying this out of envy. I'm a photographer. The post was worse than I expected. Anyone who does this kind of thing deserves to be arrested. There's no need for me to help them. Thinking this, I decided to kick Danny out just like I did with his father. But what surprised me next was his response. Saying things in the chat room was bad, I get it. But Lindsay isn't a bad woman. I've known her for a long time and I can tell. No, that's gracious of you. She was quite rude to me and gave the worst first impression when I saw her. Don't say that. And just so you know, Lindsay and I met because of this chat room. What did you just say? They met through the chat room we run? Ridiculous. That's why I'm grateful to you. Both me and Lindsay. So just shut it down quickly, will you? Oh, I see. Your ex-wife runs a chat room where you meet your next wife for a happy remarriage. How nice. Now, make sure you never show me that awful face again. Just like with his father, I forced Danny out and closed the door. He talked too much and ruined his last hope himself. Ah, what a foolish man. But the worst was yet to come. One day, with business activities on a break, I aimlessly checked the chat room and stumbled upon the thread where Lindsay had posted her defamatory comments. What's this? My husband's ex-wife is so annoying. I heard that she uses her womanly charms to get work. I heard it from someone else, as I'm not acquainted with her. What on earth? This seemed like Lindsay's doing. Slandering me because her father-in-law and husband weren't able to persuade me. Obviously, after hearing from Scott and Danny that they couldn't convince me, she must have gotten mad and posted this trashy comment. She's the one at fault, and yet she's acting like the victim. Let them realize what happens when they do such things. So everything you just said, is that all true? Chris, you can tell it's true by just looking at the posts, right? Why would I lie? That's true. If we disclose the access logs as requested by the lawyer, we'll clearly know who's behind both the model's post and yours. We immediately consulted a lawyer, agreeing to comply with any request for access logs and to address the defamation against me simultaneously. After discussing with the lawyer, I parted ways with Chris and headed home. But in front of my house, something unbelievable was happening. Not just Danny and Lindsay, but my former in-laws were all there gathered together. Hey, the ex-wife is back. You, shut down that chat room right now. Please, Aaron, just do us a favor. Don't make my husband's debts any worse. Well, what is this all about? Just had a talk with a lawyer. You're nice. You hired a lawyer for us. This is hopeless. Completely off the rails. Huh? Why would you think I would hire a lawyer for you? I hired him for Chris and me. Why? What about my future as a model? That reminds me, I needed to confront this woman about her slandering me in the chat room too. When I pressed her a little, Lindsay quickly admitted her own wrongdoing. Because you wouldn't budge if you had just done as we asked. None of this would have happened. Are you really shifting the blame? Your writing defamatory comments about Miki is what started all this, isn't it? But it's Miki's fault. She's less popular, but gets chosen for more covers than me. She's only 5.3 feet tall, but she claims she's 5.5 feet. Enough already. I have no interest in such things. It's a waste of time even talking to these fools. I need to resolve this quickly. Lindsay, I've recorded everything you've been saying just now. I'm taking this to my lawyer right away. I showed my smartphone to Lindsay. That's unfair. Wait, BASH? You're calling me a BASTRIXTCH? After you shamelessly went after someone's husband? Well, I'm better off without him anyway. I'm off to see my lawyer now. Farewell, everyone. Despite my clear statement, all four of them surrounded me, pleading and trying to persuade me. Aaron, we were married once, weren't we? You'll help us, right? I'm grateful to you. You gave me the chance to meet Lindsay. Exactly. Thanks to you, Danny and I were able to get married. We're grateful. So please help us. My debts have reached $1 million, Aaron. Help me out, will you? You're earning a lot now, right? Lindsay has become a burden. So why don't you come back to our family again? These people are the worst. Each of them says the most infuriating things. In that sense, they're geniuses. Geniuses at annoying others. Anyway, I forcefully ejected all four of them and headed back to the lawyer. Chris and I left the whole matter in the lawyer's hands. As a result, Lindsay's misdeeds were exposed, and she was cut off from her exclusive modeling path. Turns out, Lindsay had been defaming hundreds of others, including actors rumored to be romantically involved with her, makeup artists, and photographers. As a result, she faced breach of contract charges from the fashion magazines and damage claims from various parties, leading to her and Danny's downfall. Danny and Lindsay, that's what you get for doing wrong. Yeah, your recording and the fact that Danny and Scott tried to cover up the incident at your house have only added fuel to the fire. She won't be able to continue in showbiz, and Danny will have a hard time finding a new job. Now that she can't work as a model and Danny is still a freeloader, I wonder what they'll do. Moreover, Lindsay was disowned by her father, who is an executive at a large corporation and cannot turn to her family for help. As it turns out, her father's company is affiliated with the company where I work. The scandal over the model's defamation and the actions of her husband and father-in-law, including their mistreatment of me, have caused an unending uproar. Moreover, I found out something shocking. The HR person who relegated me to the cleaning staff turned out to be Lindsay's half-sister. So it was nepotism. They look so different, I never realized. But they are half-sisters. And so, even Lindsay's father ended up losing his position. On the other hand, with these barriers removed, I finally started receiving proper recognition. And incredibly, after 10 years since joining the company, I was promoted to department head, finally graduating from my position as a cleaner. However, I'm still continuing the IT business with Chris. Of course, my annual salary has significantly increased since becoming a department head at the company. And combined with the IT business, it amounts to quite a sum. Even so, I'll work diligently and honestly without becoming complacent. Otherwise, I'll end up consumed by money, just like those people did. That's true, but I don't think you'll ever end up like that. My life is just beginning. I'll diligently make up for the time lost to their interference and keep progressing in my work.